so dark in here. Mm-hmm. 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 What's going on, peeps? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Y'all, I'm sorry for this lighting, man. I'm just not. My office has been pretty much deboed by my husband, so I have to just get in where I fit in. What's going on? Good evening. I know this is unlike me, right? To be on here all late. I'm usually laid up asleep somewhere, but I'm actually trying to stay awake. So y'all helping me stay awake. And I have some news that I want to share. Growing with Donnie, what's going on? Coming forth to carry. Yeah, I know, right? I had to let that loose. Just dropped in my spirit. I don't know who that was for. Oh, goodness. Hopefully for nobody, to be really honest. I think it's just because um, I'm feeling real ethnic right now. Oh, goodness. What's going on? I was trying to give just this is unannounced kind of. I mean, I put up a notification about 10 minutes ago, but I wanted to share with you all. I had went live earlier um and with our Black History month fact, Black History is relates to agriculture earlier, and I shared that I had a win yesterday, and so I was like, man, I was gonna wait till Saturday or so to share, but I was like, let me go on and tell the people what happened. Um, since we on the road here with talking about things pertaining to collaboration, working with your white allies, action plan, policy change, land use, land ownership, black land ownership, land development, things of that way, things of that nature that I've been talking about on the channel so far. And please remember, like, I've gotten some comments about Letitia, I thought this was a gardening channel, or I joined your channel because I thought you was going to talk about gardening, and it looks like you're talking about other stuff. Well, that tends to happen a lot, okay? With most channels, they are gardening channels, but then they talk about cooking food, or their projects around their home, or just random things. It's winter time. Everybody's kind of taking a chill pill. Some people are still growing year round during the winter, but everybody's kind of, planning, preparing for the next growing season. And so part of why I'm talking about more things that I'm other than gardening is because last August, for those of you that do not know, last June, July, August ish, I became more involved with the ag community in my city. And so then all of a sudden, um, I'm pursuing the purchase of a 10-acre farm right here in the city, urban farm in the city. I also announced before that I wanted to be a farmer. So I was going to take on that task of becoming an urban farmer, small farm, right, just farming on my residential property, less than a quarter of an acre is what I sit on, but I'm actually growing less than that. Okay, on growing on less than that. So part of all the stuff that's coming out now with the lives and the panel discussions is me catching you up, because I didn't do a whole lot of YouTubing during that time because I was so busy getting things. But I try to keep people informed. But I'm just kind of try to catch you up and let you know what has happened in my life, as it does relate to gardening, farming, land purchasing, land ownership, land use. I'm getting more into policy stuff now because what I realize is, just talking about it, we can talk about it all day long, and matter of fact, have some great discussions around the historical references pertaining to land use, land ownership, and you know, because I'm black, I mean, I get to talk about that too on my channel. So it's not that I'm not gardening and farming anymore. It's that I'm just trying to catch you up on some experiences that I have had, and I'm hoping that it kind of helps other people who are in the same boat or about or may try to pursue farming, gardening on a larger scale, engaging their community, doing some things with. You don't have to become a farm or an LLC. I started a business, right? You don't have to do this stuff to give back to your community, by no means. I'm just sharing what I have done, hoping that it can help somebody else. So I just wanted to put that out there. And thank you to everyone that has supported. The channel is still growing, and I'm so grateful for that. And just thank you so much for engaging and supporting the channel. Um, I'm just grateful, and I'm excited. And so let me growing with Donnie. I know I'm crazy. I'm crazy. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Okay. So yeah, let me share, and I'm not gonna be on here too long. Even though I do love to chat with you all, but this medicine is starting to kick in and it makes me a little drowsy. So y'all have to forgive me if I start mumbling. Okay. But let me share with you what has happened. So since mm, August of 2020, I think August, I have been engaged with a group called Food in Neighborhoods. And the under the umbrella of Food in Neighborhoods is a group called the Urban Ag Coalition. And the Urban Ag Coalition is made up of all sorts of businesses, people in food policy, just all type of organizations, just individuals. So all of them don't own a business. We got puppeteers. We got people that just like to plant flowers. We like, just a group of people that have come together who want to share resources, information, that want to just collaborate with each other and try to help each other in any way that we possibly can. And so I kind of just, eyeballed this group for a while, came to some meetings when I was invited, kind of laid back, introduced myself when they asked me to introduce myself, but just listened. And that led to eventually some people from that group were willing to help me with some projects that I had taken on for myself. And I just ended up developing a really good working professional relationship and become friends with some of them. Um, and again, we're just all focused on growing food and making sure that we can get or do what we can to create food pathways in our city. Our city is a food desert. There are neighborhoods in our city, in the big city, that are food deserts. My city just became a food desert. And so I'm trying to figure out, well, heck, how can I help solve this issue? And there are other groups and other organizations that are doing this, but I'm like, what I need to do my part. So that's kind of why I started or applied for a farm number and officially became a farm. And then why I started the LLC, because it all kind of works together. Um, and I plan for this to be a long-term effort, not just something. I've moved to kind of like that hobby gardening thing, which is cool because that's what I did for 5 years. But I'm just kind of trying to level up. That's all I'm doing, and feel like this is the right moves that I need to make for me. So I started talking more, attending more meetings, learning, from these people in this coalition about all these different things. Um, Found out that there was a way for people to purchase vacant lots or vacant property, um, from the city and met a girl who had done that about 10 years ago. Her name is Amanda. And if you watched the last panel discussion, she was on that panel. And her business is called Louisville Lots of Food. And literally, her farm are 5 combined lots, and they were all vacant lots at the time. And she purchased those from our city land bank, okay, and used them for agricultural use. So she has like 20 plus odd hazelnut and walnut trees. She has beehives on that land. She has artichokes and stone fruits and raspberries and blackberries and strawberries and all these things that she's growing. And I'm like, oh, that is so dope. These plots of land are just sitting there. Half of them or more are supposed to be mowed by the city, but they're not being mowed. They're not being taken care of. People dump their trash and old furniture and all these other things. So I think it's a great idea to use vacant lots for agricultural use, right? And of course, people purchase from the land bank to build new homes and businesses and things like that. But we're talking about gardening, farming, and so all of that is leading up to this point of yesterday. So from August something till now, um, Finn has been Food and Neighborhoods. Urban Ag Coalition is under that umbrella. Has been the policy team um, has been um, trying to figure out how we can make the process for purchasing those vacant lots a little bit easier, especially for people that want to use it for agricultural use of some sort, whether it's a community garden, a market garden, a therapeutic garden, a plot garden, or farming. Okay, if it put an orchard in, whatever we can do to make these things um easier, this process easier. They developed a book, like a little guide on how to purchase vacant properties from the city and all this other. It's, I mean, done a lot of work. So I come in like not even knowing that this is the pathway that was created, but I ended up getting a little moved by a guy who had purchased some property privately, but then there were 2 other vacant lots right next to his, and he wanted to purchase those through the city. Well, it became this big to do, and it was really hard for him to be successful at that. So I was like, oh my gosh, let me figure out who this guy is. Let me talk to him. Come to find out, I met him 6 or 7 years ago when I used to work in mental health, and he's a teacher. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know who you are. It's so dope that, we meet again. And so from that point on, just advocating with him. Now, I was not the only one. So consistently, there was about 2 or 3 other people that were working with him. We were all from the Urban Ag Coalition, and Finn, trying to work with him to make sure that this happens for him, that he could purchase these 2 vacant lots. And but it takes you working as a team, being focused on what the main thing is, and creating just a ruckus, right, until you get what you want. But I feel like everybody handled things so great and so professionally. Now, when we talk about collaborating with people that don't look like us, okay, maybe they don't have the same pedigree, maybe they come from nowhere, maybe whatever. I think if you allow yourself, you will find out that some of your thoughts, some of your goals, some of your vision is the same. And then you find out that you all can actually work together and make some things happen. And that's kind of what happened. I'm um and this is kind of a tangent, but I feel like I need to say it. Like, just because I have talked a lot about black this and black that on my channel for the past month or so, doesn't mean that I'm anti-white. Okay. It just means that I am black. I know my experience. I know historically what the experience has been for my people. And I want to no longer just sit back and allow things to happen. So if I can be a part of the solution, I just want to be a part of the solution. And it's not just about random things. It's things that I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about my family legacy, that started years and years and years and years and centuries and decades and whatever else ago. Okay. And specifically relating to farming, growing food, and owning land. Um, Most of you all know. Hi, Miss Angela. Yeah, most of you all know that my family owns 60 plus acres of farmland and have farmed it for a very, very long time. People started getting sick. You know, my family started passing away, but the family still has the farm, and has the land. So it's not an active farm. There's still cattle and goats and things like that. My grandmother is holding on, right? But it's not as active as it used to be. Stop it. So but it's important to me to understand the historical reference, how they got the land, how it's been passed down, why certain things have been done on the land and not. What's the story, what's the narrative? And so all of that is kind of fueling the passion for, yeah, everyone, no matter who you are, should have access to land, and it shouldn't be this hard. But specifically for black people in this country, it is absolutely ridiculous the things that we've been through in relation to land and land ownership. And so, you just got to start somewhere. And so I'm just trying to understand where I live, the city policies, land development code. I know none of this stuff sounds sexy, but what is sexy is when you're able to work with some people and create change. And so that's what happened yesterday. After about 8 months of going back and forth with the city, going back and forth with the land bank, and amongst ourselves, trying to brainstorm ways to make this process easier and to also get a win for this guy, because the win affects the future, right? And literally, because not only did he get the land, but a policy change happened so that from now on, it is going to make things easier. And so I'm very proud of that. Um, and so I wish I could share exactly what. I don't know if it matters exactly what the wording is. Look, girl, stop it. Tell everybody hi and then go watch your shows.
Hi.
Hi, this is Little Big Girl Farmer for those of you that are new to our channel.
Forever.
Yes, Little Big Girl Farmer. And she Growing with Johnny says hi. Say hi. And she's a treasure in herself, but Lord, she always knows when I'm live. I don't know. She gets that little radar. Okay, girl, get down before you fall. Come on, come on, come on. But okay, go on, girl.
Mom.
Go watch your shows. I'll be in there in a minute and we'll have our spa night, okay? Well, it's nighttime now, so we're gonna change it to spa night. How about that?
Well, we need an avocado.
We need an avocado
And a bowl.
and a bowl.
And then we mush it with our
And
hands.
mush it with our hands.
And then we put it on our face.
Put it on our face.
But if you have someone else doing your...
Yeah, we're not gonna do hair tonight.
You got someone doing your hair. Then you could wear little cucumbers.
You could wear cucumbers on the eyes, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll do your feet. We'll soak your feet. We'll do that, okay? But I need you to hang on tight and give me just a bit, okay? Give me just a bit. So go watch your shows, and then I promise I won't be much longer, okay? Yes, that's what she thinks. That's what she thinks. And that's okay. We can do these little spa nights or days. Goodbye, little big girl farmer.
I'm gonna try to be quiet.
No, no, you can't be quiet. That's not,
Yes,
gonna
they
happen.
can. They can't be
Okay.
quiet.
Hi, Missy. What's going on? So, um, so yesterday, oh, I was trying to find this, so I can kind of share with you what we did in a nutshell. Okay, so in our city, there is a land bank, and you can purchase vacant lots in structures from the city, all from $1 all the way up to market value. And so, Finn Food and Neighborhoods, they're on Instagram if you wanna follow us on Instagram. But it says success land bank policy revision creates more access to land ownership. Swipe to see the changes to one of the programs that we uh, uh, chose to pursue. And so this specific program is a land bank program that allows residents to purchase a vacant lot for $500 if certain criteria are met. So before, the criteria was that only the vacant lots can only be purchased through this specific program only by people who owned and resided in the house or building on the same block. Okay, so you had to own or reside in a house or a building, okay, on the same block. But now, eligibility has expanded to folks who own another vacant lot on the same block as the land bank lot, and people with documented family history, okay, also can purchase on that land bank, or that a lot on that block. And so then we tell people if they want to learn more, then that's cool. So the whole thing about the family history piece is not something that it just happened to happen, as we were advocating for this guy and his two lots, the purchase of those two lots. But there was a lady who had experienced some. Her family was basically the kicked off of their land, and the reason documented is that there was delinquent taxes, which was probably true, and I think she actually admitted to that. But the underlining issues were racial. They were something that her family could not control. And at that time, it was a lot of things going on in the community where people were basically trying to clear out blocks and blocks and blocks so they can develop them. Okay, and it's happening now. Okay, there's a lot of neighborhoods in our city where developers are trying to clear these neighborhoods, these streets, these blocks, so they can develop. Okay, buildings, and so the idea, specifically to this lady's case, was that her family used to own that property. It was taken from them inappropriately, and she was able to get it back. And not only was she able to get that land back, but the land bank approved her purchase for $1. $1 is all she had to pay. Okay, so that was a win. And so I'm just celebrating. I'm excited that I was a part of a process where I really got to see people working. I was engaged. I was working with the team to make this happen, and it happened. And it was in my lifetime, and I got to witness it and see the whole thing, pan out. So it's so dope. Like, I'm so excited for that. Miss Angela says, "Oh, yeah, girl, she's funny." Yeah. So I just feel like, so what do we do at this point? Because that was a win, and I'm really trying to celebrate it. But some other things went down as well, and during the same meeting, and it's really hard to explain without you all watching or hearing or knowing the context. So I'm not going to try to do that. But basically, we still have a long way to go. Our city has posted a slideshow of sorts online so people can understand the racial disparity, racial history, equity issues that this city has perpetuated over time. And we're not the only city. I mean, this has happened all over the country, but I'm just talking about where I live. So thank you, Growing with Donnie. Yeah, it is pretty dope. Um, and so I'm trying to learn the history, particularly around um, black land, black ownership, land ownership, and redlining, and all these other things. So redlining, if you're not familiar with that concept, basically our city said after Ninth Street, right? Blacks could not purchase property, land, um, live, okay, there. And then when white flight happened, so whites started moving out of the West End and moved to other parts of the city. Then we got the whole, well, if a block is majority owned, if there's a block or a street or an area of the neighborhood, there's majority white homeowners, that black people could not live in those neighborhoods, on those streets, on those blocks. And so right now my city is going through a land development code reform to right some of those wrongs under this label umbrella of racial equity, is what they're trying to say. I have my own thoughts about that, and we won't get into that. But I feel like in any event, it's just a good day when we can really truly all work together to create change. And it's happening. And then on top of that, you get to witness it. That is just amazing to me. So I'm hoping that we can continue to work together. We as the city, the community, that the community can be heard, and that we can fix some things around here, as far as policy is concerned, because it's the only way it's going to be fixed. Is and I mean, of course, we want to change behaviors in the hearts of the people, but you can't do that. I mean, I can't do that, right? I think there's only one person ever in the universe that can change hearts, right? But we can definitely be responsible for our own behaviors, okay, and go from there. But you have to be responsible for yours, and I'm responsible for mine, and so forth. Um, so I just wanted to let y'all know that, I mean, it's possible, but but we can't stop there. We have to continue to move forward. So the next steps are, um, to continue to work on this system, because it's not perfect. It probably never will be, but there's still some things that need to be changed. And so, even though we got a win with this policy change, another policy change needs to happen, in order, and so that people pursuing this system of purchasing property through the city, okay, um, can have a chance. Okay. Um, Now, why is it important to purchase property versus renting property? And maybe this should be a different conversation. Renting is fine. I mean, I used to be a renter, and there's a time and place in my life where I would not have done anything else. But as I'm looking toward my future, and I'm thinking about what I want, I know what I want, and what I'm trying to fight for. We know that land ownership creates equity. And that's all I really want, is for people to have a shot at legacy, and not necessarily, um, you know, if they want that shot, to have a shot at it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So what can I do to make that happen, and make it happen for my family too? I mean, we own our home and everything, but I mean, we own it, but really the bank own it, right? Till you pay this mortgage off. Um, but I want my daughter to have access, and to have a legacy, if she chooses, of her own. And I want part of that legacy to include land. And then we get into, well, why? She just asked why. And that have to be up to her. But for me, because my family, I have already witnessed in my family, learned about the history of land ownership in my family. I want to continue that legacy. It would just put a little stank on it, right? And create legacy for my family by my own right. So y'all, that's pretty much it. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions about any of that I talked about? I know I'm rambling. Um, is policy change hard? Yes. Does it take several revisions, several back and forth? Yes. It's exhausting. It really is, and I think that's why I've never been interested before, because I just didn't want to spend the time. Uh, really, like, it's just, but it's different when you're not the only one. You know, I think it helps, but yes, even with a team, it is very exhausting. It just depends on how much you want to put into it, but it can happen. It is happening, and I'm excited to have this success in my back pocket. Yeah, I've gone through this process. Um, yeah. So I don't know, y'all. Let me get off here, I guess. If there's no questions, no other comments. I just wanted to share that. And
She always wants to share stuff.
thanks, babe. Yep, that's what I do. But
You call me babe.
I did call you babe.
You're supposed to call Dad that.
I'm supposed to call Dad that.
Yeah,
Oh,
like Lily did. Kabinga.
yeah, you sure thing. Growing with Donnie.
I just tried to.
But stay tuned. I don't want. I want. Yeah, you should look into it to see if your city has a land bank. Now, that's not the only way you can purchase property, right? You can purchase by privately purchasing land. Get up, stop it. Through private landowners, your real estate agent, all that, right? But the city, our city doesn't even own the majority of vacant lots. Okay, they only own a small percentage, and that should tell you something, right? Another percentage is owned by private owners, and then the rest of that's owned by developers who have abandoned their properties or haven't figured out what to do with them yet, or whatever. um, yeah, land bank. Yep. So you know, but if you can purchase, and these lots are real small in the city, in urban areas. They're less than a quarter of acre. I mean, I'd be seeing like little slivers. I'm like, how they get a house on this little piece, this big? Like, who does that? But honey, they figure out a way to build a house on that little piece of land, and they usually the plots usually go straight back. Um, but it's something else, y'all. I've really learned a lot. I've learned a lot. And I don't want it to make it sound like it's just all bad, like corruption, that it's all like negative. I don't want to sound negative, but that's why policy change has to happen, because there is so much corruption, and there is so much and sometimes just simply not enforcing the policies that are already in place creates issues. And that's a lot of I believe, our land bank reform issues. I mean, I don't know if the land bank, there's some stuff that needs to be changed, yes, but overall, I feel like if there was just more enforcement of what is already there, then the community would be protected more. And so sometimes it's just saying, man, just do what it says and quit giving so many opportunities for people to um, get special treatment. And most of the time those people are developers. um, let's see, it's interesting. Little big girl farmer, sit still. It's interesting that you have to already own land to participate. Well, that's one of the criteria at the time, was that you had to own you had to own property or reside on that block or that street. And that's silly because I feel like developers don't have to even live in the city to purchase property. So why would you make somebody else do that? If I live in city A and I want to purchase property in city B and city B is 5 miles away, I should be able to do that. I don't understand, businesses get to do it everywhere, anywhere they want, right? And literally there was a guy on at the board commission meeting for the land bank who is working with some organization here in the city where he is going to flip the homes, but then they got people lined up to buy the homes. Who knows how true that is? He couldn't even tell the board what the name of the organization was. He didn't even know the last name of the real estate agent that he's working with, right? But he got approved with no problem. But then you have a guy like the one we advocated for who has purchased property. The two lots are right next to each other. Okay, right next to the land that he owns. And he has a therapeutic garden there, holds community events, free events to help the community, gives out food, sets up tables and those little canopy tents from Walmart, hands out food on Thanksgiving, and then packs up all his stuff and cleans up, cuts the grass when the city is supposed to be cutting the grass, right? He's trying to fix fences and things around there, trying to create a space that is productive, clean, neat, and serves the community. And y'all won't sell to him, or at the time they didn't. Okay, it took us 8 months. Y'all won't sell to him, but y'all sell to this person that can't even give you all the information that you asking for. Doesn't even know who they working for. Doesn't make sense.
I know it
Doesn't make sense.
I already know.
Makes no sense. But because he's a developer and he's wanting to build, everything's okay. Everything's okay. And I'm so sick of hearing that. Why? And that's another thing. You got to purchase, if you're going to purchase a vacant lot, they expect you to build on it. For what? Why? Why? And I'm not getting into discussion about, I'm not trying to say that we don't need housing and other businesses. I'm not saying that. We need affordable housing. If you're going to build, think about where you building. And then they do, and it's called gentrification. You know, we're not going to get on that topic. But in the same scheme of things, that is really fast for policy. 8 months. Oh, go, you better, honey, you better believe it. It was fast, but that's how on it. I mean, I'm not saying we did everything right, but I mean, we were consistently, you know, we just didn't stop. We just didn't stop. And again, that's a piece of the policy that needs to be changed. We're not done with it. We're not done with it, but we did get a win, okay, with a piece of it. But there's more that needs to be done. Okay, so just one step at a time. But it is quite fast, yeah. But I mean, when I tell you, it was like constant emailing, constantly making. It's almost like you have to make them listen. You have to make them listen, and then, but you also have to be in agreement on some things too. That's what I'm learning. Like you can't just go in saying, bashing everybody. Um, but there is a time where you have to bark a little bit louder. And I feel like it was just a combination of things. And again, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel, but it was fast. It was fast, but it wasn't fast enough. I feel like for what it was, for the policy that changed that we went after, it shouldn't have took all that, but it did. Um, and just the constant, yeah, engaging. Just, I mean, didn't let up one bit. Okay, didn't let up one bit. So Um, there are bigger fish to fry though, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Um, so have are any of y'all in food deserts? Do y'all know what that it means or what that looks like? And have any of y'all had any experiences in those areas trying to create pathways for neighborhoods, parts of the city that doesn't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables, grocery stores, uh, pretty much, there's a liquor store, gas station, and little corner stores, Dollar Generals everywhere, Family Dollars, Dollar Trees, right? But there's no grocery where they can get a fresh tomato or celery, except 5, 6, 7 miles down the road. Um, and so that's kind of the issues there. And in some neighborhoods, it's farther than that. And most people have the barriers are transportation. So they take public transportation to get to the grocery store in the first place. Now they have to go even further because grocery stores have closed in their area, to get food for their family. So they shop at the corner stores, spend way too much money, right? On packaged foods, processed foods, no nourishment, you know, for real. Um, and so that's another thing. Saving green spaces. I'm not saying this to be funny or mocking. Okay, I've never considered myself a tree hugger. I'm not saying that to mock or to make light. I'm just saying I've never considered myself that. But the more I am understanding farming, soil, microbes, um, um, organics, um, all this stuff, okay, that we learn as gardeners. And the more I'm understanding all these other things that come along with that. So, tree canopy, climate change, carbon releasing, what's it called when our city is considered a heat island, because of all the buildings and concrete and stuff, and not replanting trees and doing all this other stuff that we should be doing to cool our planet. Hey Diva, Growing with Donnie says, I know. I say I tried. Let me back up. Angela says I tried to get my church to start a community garden, which is in a food desert. Boom. And churches, along with other organizations, but churches are probably, in our city at least, the largest landowners outside of developers and people that are trying to gentrify and buying up all this stuff, um, in the city. Okay, there should be a community garden or farm on every church property. I mean, that would be so dope if we could make that happen in the city, right? Something in regards to farming, conservation, tree canopy, something to help limit or lessen our carbon footprint. Something. I'm learning about all these things, y'all. I'm not that smart. I'm learning. So I'm trying to use the words that I've learned. But like we should be doing something, right? In churches have parking lots and big old pieces of land around them parking lots, right, that they mow. And that's it. They may have a little picnic area, or something, but I mean, there's so much space. So I say keep going with that. Like, try your best, do some research. There in our city, I just attended a workshop where they are giving grant money up to $1,000 to start a community garden. I want to find some money somewhere so I can pay some people to start pollinator gardens and start vegetable gardens on their property. Like, I want to pay them a fee to do that, and with their committing to either let us farm for free after, or they maybe for a year just try to grow. Okay, and this is the expectation of the program. I don't know, I'm just thinking up some stuff, but it would be so dope, if that could happen. Even if we just put a sunflower field, on the church property, how much of that would help the environment? um just all kinds of things. A cover crop field, I don't know, maybe we can grow all mustard greens and let them go to seed, and figure. I mean, that's food, but you're also helping the pollinators. There's all kinds of different things. I don't know, but it would be so dope if churches would consider that. Little big girl farmer, you're shaking my computer, sweet. Be still. Hey Diva, I don't know if I said hi already. Let's see. I know about them. I don't currently live in one, but I'm passionate about influencing change. They didn't want to pursue the idea. Well, and why was that, Miss Angela? did the church not want to pursue the community garden? And then you get community gardens. Like, so one of the concerns of the land bank is that if we give, I know, and I know it's especially around vacant prop or people trying to purchase for agricultural use, is that it doesn't, people don't keep it up. Well, people buy land and build homes and don't keep the homes up. They don't keep the homes occupied. They don't keep the property cut. Then you got, all of a sudden, you got squatters in the house. You got boards boarded. The house is boarded up and looking all crazy. I mean, it's just, quit reaching. Quit reaching. I hate that. Growing with Donnie says, even in spaces that aren't food deserts, many of us don't know what works for our bodies and how to properly nourish ourselves. Yeah, sure. Or can afford the groceries in the store around us. And so again, this specific person that I've been telling you about, um, you know, wants to grow the food and just give it away. How dope would that be? These people can't even get to the store anyway. They can walk a block or two, pick up some fresh produce for free or at low cost, right? You go to the store, purchase organic lettuce or something for $4, and you can get it for $2 or $1. You know, I just feel like, I don't know, if we were open to it, and of course, if there was consistency, then we can create huge, huge changes in our communities if we were allowed to do that. And so the only way, some of that fight is going to be taken care of if there is policy change. Um, yeah, a lot of veggies go to seed and help the pollinate: carrots, mustards, parsley, radish, all kinds of stuff with tons of flowers. Yeah, and it's beautiful. And then you can pick it and eat it too. It's edible. So, Miss Angela said, no response. They already own several vacant lots. I'll try again after researching grants. Yeah. And sometimes that's the thing. Like, churches, other entities don't want to spend the money. We don't have the money in the budget. We don't really have the people um, um, here that may be interested. I don't think there's nobody here. Well, go ahead and handle those objections. So, think of all the things that they may say, or what are things that they've already said. Find the solutions to those objections that they have and see if you can move from there, and especially if you have money already available. And so the most you may need is their water source, you know, but tell that, but show them that you can actually catch water, rainwater, right? So talk about water catchment systems. So we don't use your water that much or as often because we have these rain barrels full of water or whatever, or these tanks full of water that we've caught, from the rain naturally. Do those? I think if you, and sometimes it just will be flat out no. I get it. You're not going to get a yes all the time. But those are just some ideas that I've come across. Um, they don't want to be part with the building fund. They don't want to part with it, right? And it's like, why do you have a building fund? Like, what are you using it for? I was a part of a church that had $50,000 in the building fund. Wasn't nothing wrong with the building. They didn't need it. They wouldn't add nothing onto it. I've heard of a church that had 100 and some $1,000s in their checking account, but honey, when it was time to replace a door, it took them 6 months to replace a door. And it's like, y'all just so stingy. What is going on in the world? It's crazy. Growing with Donnie says, if they have a pantry ministry, it seems like they go hand in hand, and they do. So like, your job is just to sell that to them. Yeah, just try to sell it to them somehow. And I'm not good with my words. I'm getting better. But I'm finding out it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. People need to, if you are truly, not that it's just a good idea and maybe we should do that, but if you can show them that you are truly, truly passionate and you want to be a part of the solution, right? I feel like you win people over a little bit more than just tossing up an idea and you don't have a plan, because they don't want to do the work either. They don't want to plan out how this is going to work. They want you to come with all of that. At least that's what I'm learning. That's my experience. Okay. And so you're not going to have everything flushed out, right, and brainstormed and in a neat package to present. But if you can handle those big things, come up with some solutions, a plan, a proposal of some sort that kind of takes care of those things that you know that they're going to have questions about, I think you have a better chance, you know? Um, so I don't know, but I say give it a shot. Just keep going at it, Miss Angela. If you are very passionate about it and you want it to happen, do it. Go for it. Figure it out and keep revisiting that plan, that proposal, because every time you get a no, and this is easier said than done, but every time you get a no, you do, if you allow yourself, make it a teachable moment and add some things to that plan. Take away some things from that plan, okay? Learn from what you're experiencing and then adjust. Because somebody eventually is going to say, yes, Angela, yes, it must happen here. And we would love to maybe even hire you to help us. Or we would love for you to be a part of our community here. We would love for you to help us establish this new project. And sustainability is important. So how are you going to get it done? And how's it going to be sustainable over time? Most grants now want to know the answer to that question. Okay. Somebody emailed me yesterday and asked, or the day before yesterday, and asked, I need to find grant money. How do I do that? And I'm like, girl, Google, you know. But this is what I did tell her too. And I kind of have an issue with this, but it is what it is. If you are a nonprofit organization, you're going to be more likely to find grants out there, okay, to support projects, okay, than if you are an individual or if you're a for-profit business. And the reason why I said I have an issue with that is because I am a for-profit business, but I just started, and so seed money is important, right? Um, I need help just as much as the next person getting going and sustaining. Stop it, little big girl farmer. What are you doing? Girl, give me my glasses. Okay, give me my glasses. You don't. I'm not gonna tell you what she did.
They're clean now.
These children. But yeah, sure thing, Miss Angela. But yeah, you're more likely to get money if you're nonprofit versus being individual or for-profit organization. Um, but it is possible. There is monies out there. But it's just easier to find as a nonprofit. And people will try to talk you into being a nonprofit. Don't feel like you have to do that either. That's a whole nother conversation that I won't have. And I'm about to, okay, y'all. Little big girl farmer. I don't care. Sit your tail down. Sit down. Y'all gonna see me. She think I'm playing with her. I think it's what it is. I'm not playing. Be still. I can't. You know when these children. Diva, that's what she did, and I'll try not to embarrass her, but that's exactly what she did. I don't. What is wrong with these kids? These children. Um. So anyway, if y'all have not already, check out Urban Farm Sister. Okay, Urban Farm System. She has recently come. She has recently come out with several. I mean, she always has good information. She's very thorough as well when she presents information. But well, you're right. They got clean, if that's what we want to call it. But she has done some videos on grants and things like that, how to get them, how to write them. Um, I want to hire somebody to do that for me. I've written 3 already since I started my business, and I don't like it. I don't like to write the grants. I don't like to write big papers anyway. I never have. But yeah, thank you for putting that in the chat, Diva. But she's pretty on it, and she's very knowledgeable, and she also has some good videos about accessing the history regarding to or pertaining to Black farmers and land ownership, land theft, people being pushed, the Great Migration, all that. Like you should check that out too. Very thorough, very, very thorough. But if you want to learn more, know more about that. Um, so yeah, what else, y'all? I kind of lost my train of thought. We were talking about Miss Angelina's community gardens, but I think it's a great idea. Um, Starting a community garden can be pretty taxing, as far as managing that garden. So I don't recommend that you do it by yourself. But if you have to do it by yourself, it can be done. I mean, people do it every day by themselves. Recruiting people. Maybe you do already have a list of people in the community, before you even go to that church, or go, get a few churches on board and tell them, I already got 10 people in the community, 20 people, 40 people that said that they would love to be a part of a community garden. And the community garden, again, it like the community garden participants aren't taking on all the risk of having this garden by themselves, right? They get to share that, but they also get to have their own plots, which is like the best of both worlds, right? They get to develop the culture at their garden, what it's going to look like, work together to make things happen and grow and thrive. And I think it's a great concept. I think it's a great thing. People are doing it and being successful at it. So I just Miss Angel, don't give up. Please don't give up. Yeah. Okay, y'all. Let me get on off of here. It was a pleasure. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Any other questions or comments about anything that we've talked about so far? Um, I'm trying to think of. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get off here so I can beat her up. No, she just being a child. She just Miss Angela, I did hear that bigger churches seem more likely. But you definitely have to come correct with your proposal. Yeah, well, and two, the bigger the entity, the more resources they have as well. But they can be just as stingy. But you're right. I do think you have to be. Yes, please don't call CPS. I do think you do have to be kind of like just go on and get a plan together. Um, and if you need help, like flushing some of that out or whatever, I'd be more than happy to help you do that over email. My email will be I think, in the description of the video. It's in the description of most videos. Barefruitgardening@gmail.com. Um, but yeah, I think Miss Diva said, hey. Say hi, Miss Diva.
Hi, Miss Diva. Mom, I like when you slap me over on my tummy.
You like when I slapped you on your tummy? I didn't slap you. I just grabbed your belly like that.
But that gets through me.
Yeah, you should, and maybe not with the same church, but maybe go back to them and like, listen, this time I got a plan, and I need y'all to hear this because I think it's important, and I really feel like your community here at the church could benefit from that. If it's your church or our people could benefit from that, and if it's not, then move on somewhere else. I mean, don't keep, you know, move on to a different. And some churches are actually like, you don't have to be a member at their church to use their resources. I mean, no, no. Especially if you research some of the churches that already do like Dare to Care programs, or they feed the community on certain days during the week. Research those churches that are close to you in the community. That would be a great starting place. Yeah, keep going until somebody says yes. Yeah. Or look for plots of land that you can lease and start your own community garden. And then you can have an idea of how to start one and all the things that go into it. You have practice before you go to these other uh organizations, and then you have that in your back pocket too. that you have been you are a community garden manager, and you want to encourage, if your people, hand out a flyer. If your people are interested here in starting a community garden, I'd be more than happy to do that for a fee. Growing with Donnie says, do you have a sister church? Can the church use the land bank program? But again, churches typically they own a lot of land. They really do. There's even people growing on pavement. They even have community gardens on parking lots. So yeah, I'm amazed by some of that. Yeah. Um see, people see me coming, they know I don't take no for an answer, so they just say yes before I even say anything. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It I say go for it, Miss Angela. And anybody else that's watching, listening, just do it. I've never started a community garden. I did attend a workshop because I want to. We have a small one that hasn't really been utilized. I think one person was really trying to, and it turned into let's just give out some stuff for free, gave out free seeds, and it's like right next to our library. And I feel like a lot of people don't really understand what's going on, so that may be one of the reasons why it hasn't been that successful. And again, there's probably, I think, just one person that is growing in that community garden. And so I've actually talked to him once or twice, and but now that I have the opportunity to get this grant, I'm trying to pursue our city about expanding that or moving the location of that garden to another plot. And the piece of land that I want to move it to is owned by the city, but there's nothing there. Um, and the owned by the city that I live in. Like, so I live in a big city. I live in Louisville, Kentucky, but in Louisville there are smaller cities, smaller independent cities. So I live in a smaller independent city in the big city. And so anyway, they own a plot, and I tried to do some beautification stuff, like seasonal stuff. Like with fall, they had like the hay bales stacked and pretty flower arrangement, kind of thing going on. But there's nothing there consistently. So I'm thinking about maybe that might be a good space. And then there's a 17-acre, 22-acre golf course, which is kind of small, but it's pretty big, that I'm trying to inquire about. That also the city purchased a few years ago from the owners. And I would love to have some type of farm attraction, something historical, something there to draw people in as far as revenue is concerned, but also like a huge move to promote agriculture again in this city, because Kentucky is well known for its farms, but it's also the most behind and the most racist um, state. Not ever. There are other states, but anyway, our history is crazy. But there used to be a mill in our city, the small city that I live in, and some other things going around. So I would love for that to kind of be brought to the forefront again. People learn about some of the things that happened and was going on here in the past that created tons of revenue for this city. And at one point, my small city was the wealthiest small city in the big city, if that makes any sense. And a lot of that had to do with whiskey row, whiskey bourbon and things like that. But there also was a mill. There was other farms and things here as well. So I would love to be a part of that conversation about how we can promote the city and also make some money too to bring into the city, but also, promoting agriculture, conservation, pollinator gardens, orchards, access to free fruits and vegetables, whatever it is that we can do. So, yeah. Yep. Yep. Okay. I'm going to get off of here, y'all. I know this is like my third time saying it, but I really mean it this time. But thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
So till next time, we'll hang out again. Y'all have a great night, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.